Hey everyone, this is Tyler with MCC. I'm here with Cam and his EK Coupe, and he's pushing 600 horsepower on this car. And there goes a 1,000 horsepower skateboard. Oh, your coffee!
Oh, dude, that would have made a mess.
Dude, that would have came in the car. Oh man,
That would have been a good day.
that would have
Right through
ruined
the
your
sunroof on my
interior.
head, dude.
Ruined your interior that you just cleaned just for me.
That'd have been the perfect intro to your video.
It
Though.
really
Just a
would have
coffee
been.
dumping down my sunroof onto my head.
Yep. I'm kind of bummed he said something.
I know. Just turning the
He's
entire.
too good of a friend. He builds your car for you, and then that.
Yeah, I know. And then doesn't let me spill coffee on my head, dude. He's watching out for me.
Yeah. This was a shell that was at Jake's house.
Shell at Jake's house had weeds and grass growing through the motor.
Nice.
Yeah,
In the motor,
like
through
vines,
it?
like through the wiring and stuff. It was wild. When we jacked it up, the underneath of it actually had like vines and like weeds.
Oh my God.
We had to yank out of it. So it's definitely from covered in grass and flat tires to this. So.
Was it the original color was still white? Or
Yeah, it was white.
It was white?
So the hood, fenders, and body are all still original paint. The only thing that's been repainted is front bumper, lip, and skirts, and rear bumper.
Okay.
Yep. The rear of it was wrecked. So the trunk was smashed, bumper was smashed,
okay.
and the quarter was kind of kinked in. And he had the hatch. He just bought the shell because it was a decent. Everything else was really pretty. The interior was really clean. And I eventually bought it from him. And then we put the swap in it, and then we took it and had it. Those guys that we were joking about the paint, they straightened the back and put a new trunk on it and stuff.
Gotcha. You and Jake, aka Jake, built the motor.
You.
Yeah, you.
Jake built the motor, and there was a couple nights that I would hand him tools while and crack beers for him. But a majority of it was I'd get a picture of it like a couple days later and look how far I got without you here. And so yeah, that's how a lot of the build went. Jake had not only did Jake build it, a lot of these are like his leftover donor parts from him upgrading that one.
Yeah.
And which worked out for me as far as a budget build.
Right.
And then it was supposed to be like an eBay build, and every eBay part I went to order, Jake was like, well, if you just buy the better one now, you won't have to buy it later. And then it turned into a completely not eBay build.
Yeah.
And so, which I'm glad I did, because granted, he did all the work. I would hate to have to do it multiple times. So he had a good point.
And it's a B series motor.
Yep, LSV Tech B18.
So you dynoed it at 600 and
607.
607, and then
Yep.
you kind of tuned it down.
Well, that's 607 on 26 pounds.
Yep.
And I drive it on like 12 pounds.
Okay.
The boost is just turned down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 18 pounds in third is my like peak, and pretty much don't need any more than that. So it still spins the tires in third. Originally, I only wanted to make like 300 to 400.
Right. Well, that's plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty.
And that was the goal. And once we started buying the non-eBay parts,
Right.
it was like, well, I think 500 is pretty obtainable. So we went there shooting for 500. So the fact that we broke 6 was plenty. I didn't need a bigger number.
No.
I just left it. For the longest time, for like the last like, I don't know, 4,000 miles on the car, I'd been driving it on like wastegate, like just like 10, 11 pounds.
Really?
And it made 400 and it was plenty.
Oh yeah.
And Jake was like, you ready for a little bit more boost? And I was like, yeah, why not? I was like, maybe not like in first because there's no point. And I go, you can give me a little bit in second, but it already spins in second. So we put it all in third, and it definitely shocked me.
He's like your drug dealer. You ready for something better?
Yeah, you ready for something a little better? And I'm like scratching my face.
I want to get you hooked on. I want to get you hooked on my next product.
Yeah, I'm like scratching myself. I'm like, just give me a little more.
He
boost.
wants you to blow this motor so he can build you another one.
I guess
That's what he wants.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. He already spends so much time fixing cars and building cars. He does not want to build this one.
I'm sure.
I know. No, but yeah, he really hooked me up.
Got the raised wheels.
Yep.
These are real ones, right?
Real race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not reps.
They're real Graham lights. I didn't pay retail for them. That's why they're 5-spoke, not 6-spoke, because preferably I would have the 6-spoke on them. This is like the 57 DR or CR. It's a sub model.
Gotcha.
And the 6-spoke looks a little bit better, but
I like these though. I like almost like the dish look in the middle,
yeah,
and then the way they kind of stretch out.
Yeah, they're not terrible.
It's kind of retro, like 90s style.
Yeah, I kind of wish they were gloss. The matte's not bad, but it collects a lot of brake dust.
Dude, the cleaning those must be brutal.
It's brutal, and then when they are clean, they're so bright. This thing kind of makes me think it's like a RC car. It looks like a kid's toy, like it's on bright gold wheels. So. But I still like them. They got a good deal on them. They're the perfect spec. It's exactly how I want them to, as far as fitment.
Yeah.
So.
Is it a stock transmission, upgraded?
No, LSD trans. Okay. Synchros. I mean, it's a built trans, as built as it's gonna get, and
by you and
by
Jake.
me and Jake. Yeah, it got rebuilt again this week before the interview. So yeah, we have first gear back, and
excellent.
We have most of a differential. Yeah, so pieces of it came out, and we'll put a new one in later. So.
And then you changed the interior a bit, so you've got a seat out of an Integra.
Passenger seat out of an Integra, steering wheel's out of a RSX, like a DC2, and or DC5, not DC. That's the Integra. Yeah, DC5.
Okay.
And then just a Energy Prisma seat, kind of a cheaper seat. Definitely like a bigger boy seat. Like it's more loose than Jake's. Jake's is pretty tightly bolstered. I prefer his seat. This is 400 new. His is like 1100 new.
Jeez, yeah.
Once I went black carpet and black driver's seat, the really, really light gray seat just looked really oddball.
Insane.
Yeah. So
this looks good in here, though. It looks like factory almost.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's a lot better than that bright gray one.
Right.
The gray one almost looked white. Well, kind of like the back seats.
Yeah.
But the original passenger seat, I gave to a buddy with the 2 front seats when I pulled this one out, and then I found a really pretty new seat at Jalopy, and but it was like 3 shades lighter than the rear seat, so it was just awful.
This thing is it's really smooth. Though.
Yeah, it's on. I believe that's on Yonaka coilovers, so they're not crazy expensive. I want to say like maybe $600 or $700. They're kind of a mid-tier coilover.
Yeah.
But honestly, the way it drives, I don't plan on upgrading them unless they fail.
Right.
I've had a million Civics, and this is the least bouncy.
Yeah. So how many cars have you owned?
Upwards of like 80. And I know it sounds like such an unrealistic number, but for a period there, I was going through like 3 or 4 months, and I guess owning them, you could put quotation marks around it, because they were really I just owned them while they were getting flipped and moved to somebody else. So, but there was a handful of ones I've kept. This one I've probably had the longest. I'm coming up on like almost 3 years with this one.
Does it feel weird to own a car that long?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Other than this one, the only one, like Jess's car, my girlfriend, we've owned those like 3 years at a time, but we lease them. You know what I mean? So it's but a car for myself, this is definitely the longest one I've owned. I had a silver EK just like this, but a single cam with AC.
Oh, nice.
Just a nice little driver.
Yeah.
That I owned for almost 2 years, and then sold it to Jake because it was so nice that we didn't want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And he let a buddy commute to work in it. He blew the motor.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Well, then it ended up getting a new motor in it, and then it never was the same. So
right.
He sold it. But we've had our fair share of cars. We had a little 91 Civic hatchback that I think got sold back and forth between us like 3 times a piece. Neither one of us wanted it, and neither one of us wanted to get rid of it. So it was just kind
as you needed money or wanted to do something else, just flip it back and forth.
He's like, "Hey, do you want the hatch?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he's like, and then vice versa. So that was kind of funny.
That is funny.
So this was actually my first turbo Civic out of the millions I've had. And I had like factory turbo cars, like the couple of BMWs and stuff.
Okay.
But this is the first turbo Civic, and just riding in that hatch over the last 5-6 years that Jake's owned it, I was like, dude, I gotta have one.
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of inspired the build on it. And it's like, dude, if you get the stuff, and I'll help you put it together. But he still ended up ordering most of the stuff because I didn't want to order it wrong. And
Right.
actually, a funny story. We ordered we had piston rings, and there's like a special little clip that comes with them when you order them, and it's in a tiny little green bag. And he hands it to me, and he's like, whatever you do, don't lose these clips because they're specific to the car and they're very important. I was like, yeah, you got it, dude. I put them in the top drawer of my toolbox, and I didn't touch them for like 8 months. Well, when we needed them, they were gone, dude. I don't know where they went. I have no idea. And he goes, so the only thing I told you not to lose
You lost.
is what you lost. And I'm like, yeah, dude. So we had to reach out to the company, CP, and tell them what we always like, dude, we lost the clips. We had to wait like another 2 weeks for them to mail out the clips. Oh my God. Yeah, he definitely thought I was an idiot for that one. But I was at a loss for words because I knew I set him to the side. And
The Gremlins got them.
the day I needed them, they were gone, dude.
The Honda Gremlins got
I
them.
guess, man. It was crazy. And to this day, I've never found them.
That's wild.
Here I am driving to. I was like, oh, we'll stumble across them.
Yeah.
I've still never seen them.
Did you put them under the mat or something in the toolbox?
That's
maybe?
actually a good question. I'm gonna look into that when we get home. Now that you mentioned
If
it.
you find them, I'll put the
Yeah.
text in right here.
I'll
on
send
the,
you a
I'll say
picture
you
of
found.
it,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Check under the mat.
I didn't look under the rubber mat, the grip mat. That's a good point.
Yeah. I bet you put them under there so that they wouldn't shift around.
Dude.
Because I do that with loose screws or stuff. Like if I know I need that,
Yeah.
I put it like right under the mat on the first
Oh, it's smart.
drawer.
Yeah,
Because then they don't roll around in there when you close the door.
Yeah, he was so nice about it, but I knew he was definitely frustrated.
Yeah.
He was like, "What a moron, dude! Like, how do you?" So that was good fun. We always joke about the clips.
So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna keep it like long term? You think?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it. I just think with I don't know. I don't think that there's, even if I upgraded to another car that was like newer or something, I think that this will always feel like kind of a spot,
Yeah.
And so I think there's always going to be a spot for it in the garage, or even if someday it gets moved to the backyard with a cover on it.
Yeah.
I don't see myself getting rid of it.
Well, the market for these is insane too.
Right. Well, and then the other thing is like, people do love them, and I feel like if I was going to get top dollar for it, they'd almost want it like super stock, and if they didn't, there's always kind of that worry like, who built your Turbo Civic?
Right.
Because I feel like every project that gets sold like this on Facebook is like, needs a tune, will run great once you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just don't think it'll ever be worth what I think it's worth to me. Like I think that on Craigslist this is probably like maybe like a $12,000 Civic. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just don't think I can replace the smile it puts on my face for 12
No,
grand.
probably not. No, 100%.
And if I was going to buy something else that's worth more money or had a different job, you could call it, I would just keep this one. It's super fun.
Yeah, I mean these are iconic for Honda people or non-Honda people. Like if you're just a fan of
this year Civic.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many people that like you wouldn't even imagine that like would compliment the car.
Right.
Would like at a gas station like, hey man, that thing looks really nice for how old it is.
Yeah.
And it's funny to say old because it's only a 2000, but it's a pretty old Honda. Yeah. Most of these have mixed match panels and.
Well, they just got. I mean, they were a commuter car.
Right.
So they just got beat to hell.
Yeah, they were never meant to be like a performance like beautiful car. Yeah.
Two, if you're in an area with salt, nobody cared.
Right.
So they just got rusted out.
People did not polish them. They didn't wax them. They got 17-inch wheels and body kits and
it's
candy
like
paint.
For every 10 Civics, like 2 are done well.
Yeah.
In this era, at least that's, I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but
yeah, but I feel like that's a good estimation of like how I would feel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the actual number, but yeah, I feel like most of them are pretty rough.
Or I'll say of every 10 Civics, 2 to 3 are still look like okay, that's in good shape.
Right.
Whether it's done well, modified wise, or just stock. Like.
Well, another tough part is like in the early 2000s, what people did to them was cool back then.
Yes.
But like now, if you see one with a big flared out body kit and 17-inch chrome wheels, you'll get a little sick.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that's not. That's not
the
it
wings
anymore.
they used to put on these.
Oh yeah, the big ones.
Oh my god.
Now, if it was a track car and I saw one with big aero and big skirts
Right.
and a chassis mount on a hatch like Jake's, I could respect that.
100%.
Super pretty.
100%.
Yeah.
But when it's just like got the massive fart cannon and it's completely stock and it's like an automatic or
automatic single cam.
Yeah, and he's shifting from first to second in the automatic.
Love it. I was there when I was 16.
Yep, so was I.
Yeah,
dude.
pushing from first to second to third. Oh
yeah.
And you change the gear so people think it's manual
Right.
when you go by 'em?
Or you rev it differently.
Yeah. Rev it neutral and then grab 30.
Yeah. That's so funny. Have you always been a Honda guy? You've owned so many different cars, but have you always been a Honda guy?
It's been Honda.
Okay.
Yeah. Very first car. I borrowed $200 from my girlfriend. Same one now.
Really?
We've been together forever. Yeah. And she loaned me $200, and I went and bought a '91 DX hatchback automatic, and it had a bad third gear, so at like 25 miles an hour I would have to let off so it could just fall into third from second, and then I could give it gas again. And it had no headliner, and the sunroof was epoxied shut. It was quite the car, but I drove it to work and I drove it around for a long time, and
Oh my God.
I paid $400 for it, and I sold it for $8, and I think I used it for over a year, and
Wow.
I loved it. But then I had like an EG hatchback, a '92, and then I bought a '93 SI hatchback, and I had a CRX, and I kind of went through a bunch of the old stuff, and then the pinnacle to me at that time when I was 17 was always like an EK. I was like, I'm gonna have like the newest '90s Civic you can get, and these were just kind of like the EFs have like I will always have a soft spot for EF 88 through 91, and but their buttons are old, their electronics are old.
Mm-hmm.
You chase Gremlins. Is granted they're still a Honda, they're still reliable, but
Right, but the electronics are
they
older.
They still have their issues.
Yeah.
And then you go to the EG, where it had kind of that in-between interior of an EK and an EF.
Yeah.
And it looked really wonky. Everything was like, I don't know, kind of round, and they had the goofy headrest.
But that's common, like that era, like 93 to 97. They were still, every car they were like figuring out interiors and redoing them.
Yeah.
And then they figured it out.
Right, and then I feel like when they hit this EK, the 99 2000, between the change of the cluster and the body,
The body lines on this are so nice.
And even though it's old, it still is more of a modern interior than all the other ones.
Yep.
Like, I feel like this was like the latest you could go. Well, the same with anything Japanese. Like once they hit like the 98 to like 01, 02, they really started to figure their interiors out. So if I was gonna buy one and keep it, it was nice to have one with a little more modern interior. Right. The RSX steering wheel helps out a little bit, so I don't have that old foamy like Civic wheel.
It looks good on there too.
Yeah, it fits. I would like to change it out for like a red Honda logo, but
that'd be cool. Yeah. I learned how to drive a manual on an 04 Civic.
Okay.
It was a two-door coupe like this. It's like just a base model.
Yeah,
silver.
EM2.
I'm pretty sure it was an EM2 because it was still that it was that before they went really started to go really rounded on the front end, but it was the more modern. Yeah, it was definitely an EM2.
Yeah.
James, my friend James, is gonna kill me if I don't remember.
Yeah, you're right. It's EM2.
And he came over and he's like, all right, it's really easy. Just do this. I'm like, okay. And I had work boots on because I was mowing the lawn, and I couldn't get it.
Oh no.
And he's like just shitting on me the whole time. My dad comes out and he's like, my dad comes out and he's like pissed at me that I couldn't get this down.
He's
like, why are you wearing work boots? Take them off. And I take them off and he just throws them. He's like, all right, let's go. And then I had it, fine. I was like, I couldn't feel the clutch at all. But yeah, I learned how to drive on his car.
You almost got to do it barefoot, or like in socks or something. Yeah. The boots is tough. Even being somebody that drives manual.
100%.
Boots is tough to drive in.
Like even these Nikes, these Air Force Ones, when I drive the S2000, it kind of bothers me.
I've always just vans are kind of my favorite to drive in. They have no support for walking or anything. They're such a flat sole.
Yes. But they've got good grip too, for skateboarding.
Yeah, they're a decent driving shoe. That's a weird elk. Just kidding.
Dude, that was a freaking cow.
Yeah, he's a little ways from home.
He's out there.
It's a she, I guess.
Is there another one up there? Now, you grew up a Honda guy, so what's your three... I'll ask you two different questions.
Yeah.
What are three things you love or a couple of things you love and hate about this car?
Okay.
And then the other question is, if you could have any three Hondas in your garage, what would they be?
Any three?
Yeah. So start with the three things you love or hate about the...
Three I love and three I hate?
Yeah.
Okay. Power, obviously, pretty fun.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't expect it, so
it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So driving it around is definitely kind of an experience.
Yeah.
It's really fun to just lay into the pedal. I do love that it's clean because having one that's beat up. It's funny. when it's your car though, all you see is the imperfections.
100%.
So everybody else, you know, like, oh man, that's the prettiest Civic I've ever seen, and then me, I just see, you know,
there's
haze
this,
headlights
there's
and
this,
dings.
yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, well, this rattles, and that's all I see.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I love that. I really do love that it was. I didn't buy it built. I love that, you know, Jake built it, and it was something I got to watch grow into what it is. So that's
definitely
pretty cool. I hate the power. Sometimes it's kind of rattly. The clutch is tough.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't drive like it did when it was a single cam. You know, and it's got rattles and stuff. So I'd say the radio rattles kind of
classic late '90s, early 2000s plastic issues and rattles and
it can't come out of the garage unless it's past 8 p.m. 6 months out of the year, because no air conditioning is kind of rough.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
So I would say that was.
Is that so? The AC delete is required as part of just being able to fit everything in there, or is it a cooling engine cooling issue?
Yeah, just fitment. They do make a kit where you can keep your AC. And originally
it's got to be really expensive.
Yeah, it was a little bit more money, and originally that was the way I wanted to go. And then when we put that manifold and turbo on it, and we were like, I'll just drive it with no AC. Everybody else has no AC, so just leave it. So
I mean, like even today's not bad.
No,
most days
not bad at all.
I feel like July, end of June through end of July is really your worst.
Oh yeah, and no tint, summer, no AC.
Dude, yeah.
It just stays in the garage.
Why haven't you tinted it? You kind of like the
I kind of like the OEM kind of stock look, and I've gone back and forth of wanting to tint it, but the fact that it looks stock and kind of fishbowly, I don't hate it.
Yeah, and especially with the cool seats and everything in there too, it's kind of neat. Yeah,
and and the interior being clean. You know, if it was really beat up and spray painted and ghetto in there, I might tint it out. But
all right, so you're gonna put a bunch of Hondas in your garage. Is this one of them?
This one won't leave the garage.
Or it might be in the yard, but it stays in the picture.
Yeah, it'd be in the driveway with a cover on it for sure. I can't get rid of it. Top 3. Oh God. I don't know. I'm probably gonna keep it 90s. I mean, Jake will laugh at me, but there's definitely an EF in there. Yeah, because it's just I got a soft spot for him. It would probably be like a SI CRX, or like a RT4 wagon. Yeah, I had one of those.
They make a supercharger kit for the EF.
Oh yeah, super cool cars. It'd probably be a CRX SI, would be one to keep.
That'd be sweet.
I don't know. I'd really dig like a right-hand drive EK9, like a real Type R EK hatch.
The real Type R, yeah.
That's up there. And I would take it over an Integra. Integras are pretty. I've had a couple, but the Civic just really clings to me more than the Integra.
Have you seen the reel on Instagram or the video of the all of the generations of the Civic Type R?
Oh yeah.
And they're rolling through the canyon. Dude, that is so cool.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. I would say the third one would be probably the new FL5. I love the Civic platform. Did not love the FK8.
Yeah, that you got to be
too much wing, too much plastic, too much. But the FL5 they really cleaned it up. So I think
it looks more like these. They're more. It's more like
it's sleek. It's like wide body,
smooth
but it's
lines.
Yeah, super smooth. So I would definitely put that on the top. Fun car, beautiful, still has air conditioning.
You can drive it every day.
Yeah, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay. Yeah, you can drive it every day. So that would probably be my 3.
Sweet. Hey, this is Tyler with MCC. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. And if you want to see more on Cam and Jake's cars, let us know in the comments. And maybe we'll do an episode on this Moto Compacto because it's really fast. Whee!